Hello everyone. So today I have a modeling story time for you.
So if you saw part 1, you already got a detailed history on the root of all of the drama from this segment. So everything stemmed from me hosting a open casting call for a group witch shoot in October of last year. One of the participants, which I failed to mention I had never met before, wanted to bring in extra people for the shoot. They were under the impression that open casting call meant bring whoever you want, and they wanted to invite extra people, even though to me, open casting call means the invite is open to whoever I'm reaching out to and bringing in onto the project. Long story short, I ended up messaging that person, letting them know I wasn't comfortable with them bringing extra people. At the time, I was made aware that COVID was coming around again, and my youngest child was only 2 months old. And they had told me, okay, that's fine. It was just 2 people, but I'm going to tell them not to come. Well, I perceived the message wrong just because I was very stressed out at the time, had a lot going on, and I was already upset with the situation. So I pretty much stopped messaging back, and then they saw that we did the shoot after all, and pretty much blew up in my inbox about the fact that they didn't get the location to the shoot. They pretty much popped off and said some pretty vulgar things about me, which were definitely not true. But either way, like, I'm not going to sit there and take someone's crap. So, like, I fed into it. But either way, I still did apologize at the end of the day. So I tried to make my peace, but we kind of just left it at that. I ended up blocking that person, and it wasn't sitting right with me. So I went back in the messages and realized I fucked up. And that's where part 1 ended.
And after I unblocked them, I let them know, like, hey dude, I totally read your message wrong. I was sending them paragraphs like this big, like the size of my phone. So I didn't get a response, so I kind of left it at that. But 8 days later, they messaged me back. I was like, hey, I probably really hurt their feelings, and you know what, I'll take the L on that one. And they were like, hey, I'm sorry, I can be a bit of a bitch, and we left it at that. Like, we made peace. So a few months later, in December, I wanted to do another group shoot, and we were going to do it at the mall. I saw a TikTok or some shit, and I was like, I need to do that. So I did another open casting call, and they were like, okay, I'm in, and everything's all cool. Like, nothing's happened since then. Like, we've both made our peace and realized, like, we've hopped off on each other. Like, so what? Like, and I told them, like, I can respect somebody that I can like bump heads with, and then we can apologize later and just be cool. Like, I respect the fuck out of that. So we put the past aside, and I invited them to the Christmas shoot. So we ended up doing the shoot. I paid for the spot. It was like $50, and I really appreciate that when everybody was like, hey, I want to print out, after not really paying anything. I was posting in the group chat that I wanted everybody to, pretty much like buy their way in. We can just split the total cost. But some people explained to me their situations that they weren't able to afford that at the time. And I was like, hey, I'll let that slide because you're cool, they're like really close friends of mine. And I was like, hey, you can get me back or whatever. The day of that shoot, they ended up being the only one to really throw in for, pictures. They ended up putting in like $20 because after the photo, of course, everybody wanted prints. With the package that I bought, only came with like 2 big photos, which were like 5x7s, and a bunch of like wallet sized ones that were like that big. And of course, everybody wanted a photo. And of course, the person that I previously had problems with was the only real one to throw in money for the shoot. Like, be like, hey, well, I'll put money in, and everyone, like, I got you if you want one and can't get one right now. So that was that. Few months roll by again, everything's pretty cool. Like, they're sending me information for like donation drives, and then they were like voting for me for, to be on the Ink Mag thing, which I kind of gave up after a while, after realizing it was a fucking scam. So I dropped out of that. But I was happy, like, they were supporting me. Like, I don't get support from people. I don't get people that are like, hey, I'll vote for you, like, I'll like all your pictures, like, kind of stuff online. And so, like, our relationship was strengthening over time. And I decided I wanted to get more personal. You know, like, I am a mom of 3. I like having more mom friends. Like, what parent doesn't want to have their kids to be, you know, like, to socialize? I invited them to my oldest child's birthday party. So this is a little bit off topic, but the whole party pretty much went well until the end. So we had like a little closed off area for food that was in the back of the house, and most of the party was outside. So like you had to go inside to get food, and it was kind of like secluded a little bit. And my boyfriend told me that he went to go get, you know, chips. Like, we had been running around like chickens with our heads cut off the entire day. Like, I didn't even eat until like 4 p.m. I was running off coffee and going back and forth all day. Oh, I need this, I need that, we're running out of this, I can't find that. Like, and I almost missed pictures of my daughter. Like, I had rented ponies for the freaking thing and almost missed that. Almost missed the opportunity just to get pictures of my own kid at the party that I was pretty much paying for. On the way home, my boyfriend had told me, of course, after the party, that this person was being ghetto at the party. So, once again, they wanted to bring extra people. And tell me why her and said person were being ghetto and acting a fool. Like, they had no home training. So, when he originally walked in, he went to pretty much get a napkin, get some chips, you know, and get out. Well, her and said person were discussing taking the food that my family had paid for and taking it home. They were like, oh, it's a party, nobody ever wants it, like, nobody's gonna take it, so we can take it. And he saw that the person that they invited was just eating chips out of the bag, eating pizza, putting it back on the box. And I'm glad that he saw that, because I would not have wanted to touch that thing afterwards. Like, that's disgusting. How do you go to somebody's party that you've never met their family, you've never been in this environment, and just act like you've had no home training? Like, that's really disrespectful, for one, to me, my kid, and the people that paid for the food. Like, what if they wanted to eat it? What if my stepbrother that still lived in the house wanted to eat that? Like, they paid for it. They should be the ones to decide, like, what happens to it. And, like, how do you go to somebody else's party and determine, like, hey, we're gonna keep this? Like, you asked to take it. Like, you don't just do that. You don't just sit there and eat and put food back in the box where other people are eating from. Like, thankfully, nobody had touched that pizza before or after that they were eating from it, but just, it irks me the fact that you can just sit there and do that at somebody else's party, like, especially one that you weren't even invited to in the first place. Like, I was really hesitant about inviting her to the party because I was like, I don't know, like, I started getting weird feelings. And then somebody messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, if they're going to the birthday party, like, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna go because I already have problems with them. They've started stuff at one of my parties before, which was an adult party, and they had pretty much explained to me what happened, and I was like, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I was like, do I do what I did, like, at the shoot and just leave them high and dry? And I decided to invite them anyways, give them the benefit of the doubt, and they totally just, like, did exactly what I thought was gonna happen and just do something stupid. Well, after the party, I didn't say a fucking word to them. I was just gonna leave it at that and just keep them on my social media and not talk to them again. Like, I have a really fucking hard time of letting people go. Like, even people that have been very rude to me or very disrespectful. Like, why do that? I don't know, because I like having them around. I don't know. But after that, but wait, there's more.